Hello, good morning and a happy Wednesday to everybody. If it is in fact Wednesday, all the days when you work kind of string together. Third session we're going to have today. We're going to kind of freelance it a little bit, but I think this will be very informative. Um, what I want to talk about today is positive and negative thinking and quantifying that because positive and negative thinking, you think of it as, shades of gray. It's really not numerical. There's no way to, put things into a calculator in terms of positive and negative thoughts. So, with that being said, you wonder, well, how can I gauge my positive and negative thoughts? How much am I in the positive? How much am I in the black versus in the negative? How much am I in the red? So I read an article that really helped me think about this. And to start off negative, first thing he said was for the psychological brain, for every the brain, the psyche, the feelings, every negative thought and feeling tends to be 2.5 times greater of a of an emotional and psychological weight than a positive thought. So for every one positive thought, feeling that you have, especially in terms of thoughts, let's get into the cognitive. When you have a thought and it's positive, you get, let's say, 1 point. But for every negative, there's 2.5 points. So if I think a positive thought in the morning, okay, I'm +1. But if I think a negative thought in the morning, that's a negative 2.5. Now, this is bad. It makes sense from a evolutionary standpoint. Human beings were hunted. We were hunters, but we were hunted. And so, if you have a positive thought feeling in that animalistic kingdom, that's all well and good, but it doesn't really help your survival. However, if there's a threat that's 2.5 times greater on the psyche, because if I'm having a couple of good thoughts here and there, that's fine. But if there is a lion who's got me in his sights, I need to be fully aware and on top of things. So it makes sense that negative things, things that evoke fear, a fight or flight reaction, would have a greater weight on your psyche than positive things. Now, when you look at it at first, that's really sucks, right? It's like, oh hell, I'm already in the hole every time I think something negative. But one of the things I like to preach is awareness. If you have problems, break them down. But if you don't know what the problem is, if you don't know the details about it, if you don't really study and research and get into it, then you're never going to fix the problem. So, knowing that we have awareness of the problem is huge. If you go to a doctor and you say, "Hey, I'm sick, fix me," and the doctor says, "Well, where does it hurt?" All over in my body, somewhere, lots of places. The doctor has a choice. He can either say, "Get the hell out of here," go to a psych ward. Kidding. He can ask you more questions, which is the cheapest way, or he can run a million tests. But if you go into a doctor and you say, "Look, I'm in pain, help. What's wrong?" Okay, my knee really, really hurts. It's a numb pain. I have constant headaches. I've got low energy. These are things that you can work with because the doctor is aware of how many problems, what the problems are, where they are, and how to fix them. Now, going back to our original subject, yeah, it sucks that for every positive thought you have, at one point, you have a same negative thought is 2.5 points. But we're aware of that. So now let's quantify that. Let's go into a little bit of the finance. I'm going to pull out my MBA for a second. So let's look at your feelings and your thoughts as a bank account. So if you have a bank account, and let's say you start off your bank account today, you put down your deposit, but in essence, you got $0 in the account because once you go below your minimum deposit, now you got to pay fees. So let's say your emotional account starts at zero today. Now, I know that every positive thought is like $1 in my bank account. I know every negative thought is like a $2.50 decrease. Well, let's go with debits and credits. It's debit is negative, it's what comes out of your account. Credit is what goes into your account. So I wake up in the morning, I'm at zero credits and zero debits. Well, let's do it right. Zero debits and zero credits. In the finance world, they always DC, debit and credit. And so knowing, having this awareness, okay, yeah, it sucks. Two and a half negatives for every one positive. However, now I've got numbers. Now I'm quantifying. I know that if I have a bank account and I want to use that bank account, I've got to put money into it. So with positive thoughts and feelings and emotions, and this is getting to the cognitive behavioral aspect of things. Cognitive being seeing the world, how you see the world, and behavior. The behavioral part of cognitive behavioral therapy is getting you to see the cognitive in the right light, not seeing the world how you see it, but seeing the world how it really is. Take any 10 people and show them a picture, and you'll get 10 different descriptions of what that picture means. That's why we use the Rorschach. Now, I'm starting my day off. I've got $0 in my emotional account. I think a negative thought. Okay, now I'm in the hole 250. But I have the awareness of the mathematics. So if I take $2.50 out of my bank account, I know I've got to put at least $2.50 in to break even. Sure, and breaking even is fine, but who wants to live like breaking even emotionally? Now I know that I'm negative 250, but despair not. I know that all I need to do is put at least $3 back in the account and I'm plus 50 cents. So if I have a negative thought in the morning, I immediately stop myself. I use a stop word. Mine is yellow. And what that does is it eliminates all distractions. It grounds me. We'll get into grounding later. And it says, okay, what do I need to focus on? So why not go past break even? Why not when I wake up in the morning, if I know I'm going to have a bad thought, why not stop and force myself to have three positive thoughts? So that now I'm plus 50 cents. Why not go farther? The difference between the wealthy and one of the difference between the wealthy and the non-wealthy is seeing the possibility of wealth. A lot of I grew up very poor, and if I went to college, it'd be great. If I got a $30,000 a year job, fantastic. But as I got more advanced in education and experience, and meeting people, networking, I see that their ceiling and their floor were much higher than mine. So why not wake up in the morning and immediately stop and think six positive thoughts? Now, if I think six positive thoughts, that means if I really wanted to get crazy with it, I could intentionally think two negative thoughts at 250 apiece and still be up by $1. So, two things that I would like people to take away from this is one, well, actually three. One is awareness. Be aware. If there's a problem, study it. Be aware of it. Do not avoid it. Put yourself into it. Dig, 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 dig deep. Because a lot of our fear and anxiety and worry comes from just not knowing what's going to happen. The only way to know what's going to happen is to research, deep dive, put down all the possible scenarios, all our options, what we're going to do, most likely, least likely, most important, most time sensitive, things that we'll get into later. And once we have that awareness of what the problem, once we have that awareness of, like the doctor, how many places does it hurt? Where does it hurt? How does it hurt? What hurts? And then we can do something about it. So when I wake up in the morning, what I try to do is immediately 10 positive thoughts. I woke up this morning. Fantastic. Here's a big one for me. I woke up sober. Ooh, that's huge. That should be worth more than 1 point. It's not, but it should be. So why not think it three times during the day? That still counts. That's 3 points. $3 in your bank account. I woke up today. I woke up sober. I woke up in a house. I woke up with food. I woke up with employment and possibilities of employment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And keep doing this, and I write them down. If you don't write it down in the military, it didn't happen. We write them down, we study them, we carry them with us, but we thought 10 positive thoughts. So then I get a call, something bad happened. There's an unexpected bill of $1,000. There's, a friend or family member who needs help, something, something, something. Okay, now I'm down to 50, but I'm up 10. And that's to start off the morning. So the second thing is now that we have the awareness, when that bad thought, because bad thoughts love to creep in. Think of the psyche like a hole dug in the ground. You dig a hole in the ground. If you don't fill that hole with exactly what you want to be in there, the world is going to put things in. Things are going to seep into that hole. And if you go outside and you look at any hole, if something has seeped into it, it's not pretty. Why not fill that thing up? Why not make yourself your own infinity pool rather than dig a hole and just have nature come in and just have a giant mud pit? So now we have the awareness and these negative thoughts creeped in. We say, okay, I just had to pay $2.50 to my psyche account, to my emotional account. Now let's put some more money back in there. And the great thing about this is these thoughts and these emotions, unlike the account, they're free. It costs you $0 to think a positive thought right now. Stop right now. Think a positive thought. You just gave yourself $1 in your emotional account. Now that we have the awareness and we say, okay, I just got down 250. Let's say we had two bad things happen in a row. And now we want to start predicting, fortune telling, this is the way today's going to go. No, because then you're inviting more debits, you're inviting more losses. Instead, we stop ourselves and we say, okay, two bad things happen. I'm down $5 in my emotional account. So I need to think at least five thoughts to break even. Why not 10? Why not 20? Why not, since these things are free, have as many positive? And when you start, it's like a muscle. You got to exercise it. It gets sore. It's tough. It sucks. But as you do it more and more, it becomes easier and easier. So start off, you think five positive thoughts in a day, you're up $5. Then muscle memory, in this case, mental memory kicks in, new term, and you're able to think these things more freely, just like with weights. You're able to lift heavier weights easier as you do more of it. So we can set up, number one, know you have this psychological bank account, know that it exists. And this is not coming from me, it's coming from research. Now that we have the awareness, now you can work with the monetary figures. You can add and subtract as much as you want. You can intentionally think negative thoughts all day long. And then at the end of the day, you're minus 100 intellectually and you're burnt out. You got a drink in your hand. Life sucks. Everybody sucks. But no, you can actually manipulate this yourself. Your psyche is yours. It's your gift. So intentionally front load your psyche with all these positive things. Number one, it's going to give you the confidence to knowing that you're in the black, you're in the positive, you've got money in your account. Number two, when these negative things happen, you're not going to get blindsided. You're not going to get real where you're going, okay, that's a negative. Okay, now we've already got money in our account. Let's put more money in our psychological account. For me, that means when a problem comes up, awareness is $1 in my account. Okay, research is $1 for every positive thing I can find when I research. Then there's another $1 for every possible solution that I come up with, every possible option. And then there's many more for when I narrow it down to the best ones. And then there's a huge payoff when I make my decision. And so now that covers number two. Whenever you start to have negative, or actually, yeah, number two, whenever you have negative thoughts seep in, already have that account preloaded. And then number three, I went back and forth, but number three is why not always at the beginning of your day and all the way throughout front load your psychological account? Put as many dollars as you can in there so that when the debits, so when the $2.50 bills come in, you got plenty of money in your account and more to spend. And a great thing about this is in nature, they have a saying, like hangs out with like. That means dogs know other dogs, cats know other cats. Positive people find other positive people. It's like Highlander. You can just sense it. Negative people find other negative people. Once you start putting all these positive credits into your account, you'll draw naturally other people who have full positive psychological accounts. And then you can get what we call passive income in the investing world. Their positivity, it trickles down to you, and your positivity trickles down to them, and you share that, and you grow exponentially. You've got compound interest on your positive income. On your positivity income, you've got compound interest, and it grows and grows and grows. Now, the unfortunate thing is twofold. When you're negative and you've got that negative account, you'll draw in other negative people. And so then you get a negative compound interest. You're going into debt until you reach psychological bankruptcy. I've been there and it sucks. But then also the fact that when you are getting and gaining off of other people's positive bank account, it's exponential at $1. Now, we already covered negativity. One negative thought equals two and a half positive thoughts. So if you're going negative and you've got a negative bank account and you're around other people with negative bank accounts, your bank accounts are going to plummet quickly. However, that's if you just, instead of living life, you let life live you. Again, if you don't fill that hole in the ground with what you want to be in there, a lot of things you don't want to be in there are going to seep in. So, that being said, you have the power. Do not live life on life's terms. Live life on your terms. I know a lot of AA people say live life on life's terms, and yeah, that's all well and good for a certain aspect. But for what we're talking about today is take control. It's free and you can do it all day long. And if you don't fill that hole with all these positive things and grow and get that passive income from others and naturally get stronger at positivity like a muscle, well, then all those 2.5 negatives are going to seep in. You're going to be around other 2.5s, but you have control. Take control today, September 3rd, and say, I'm going to take control. I know I have a bank account, a psychological and emotional bank account. I know how to fill it. I know that the odds are 2.5 to 1 against it, but I'm going to beat those odds. I'm going to do it starting today and every day. And just like becoming wealthy, you start off, it's very hard to gain a dollar. Your goal is $50 in your savings, 100, 1,000. And then you hit 10,000, then you hit 100,000, and then the money starts rolling in because of compound interest. Know that if you start today, in a year from now, your compound interest on your positive psychological emotional bank account will be in the millions. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I hope this helps. If you guys have any comments, questions, anything like that, please put them in the bar below. Feel free to give any comments that you want. And if you'd like, please subscribe. I'll be doing this as much as possible to help people on the psychological, the financial, and a lot of the things as I imitate the role of a life coach and financial advisor. I actually am getting my financial licensing right now, so you'll probably hear a lot more of the psychological to the financial analogies and parables. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you.